last week I saw you were tweeting about the dire outlooks you were seeing for the Sun Belt, and somebody replied that the region has always been, prone to boom and bust cycles as far as rent growth. But you said that's not quite right. So historically, I'm wondering, how has the Sun Belt performed as far as multifamily?
Yeah, a lot of investors and really just observers of the multifamily market still view the Sun Belt as kind of the 1990s version of itself, where there's kind of these awkward teenage markets that are boom and bust. And that just isn't the case anymore. I mean, certainly are spots like Phoenix, we still see a little bit of that. But when you look across Texas, the Carolinas, and even Tennessee, parts of Florida, these markets have been very resilient, and then on the multifamily side have seen better risk-adjusted returns than major coastal markets, which are generally viewed as less risky and more stable, and they've not held up to that reputation.
So also to establish a little bit of context, can you remind us how the pandemic affected the performance of the Sun Belt?
When the pandemic hit, obviously there was everyone was initially lockdowns, everyone's in place, nothing's happening. We see layoffs, and so that impacted every market across the country. But then a couple months later, really beginning in May, we started to see a sharp change, and this was happening in the for-sale housing market, the single-family rental market, and in the multifamily rental market, where all of a sudden people were looking around again. They wanted a place to live, or maybe they wanted more space. Maybe it was roommates who've been stuck together for 2 months, and all of a sudden they're like, I got to get my own place. Or it was adults living with young adults living with mom and dad, same thing. So that summer, there was a huge boom in demand, and that really started in the Sun Belt, which generally, right or wrong, didn't have lockdown policies that were quite as strict as what was happening elsewhere in the country. And then at the same time, come summer, once it was clear that this was going to last a while, we started to see a lot of migration as well. And I want to be careful because I think, there's some overstatement of this. I'm not in the camp that thinks everybody just picked up and left out of New York and San Francisco, moved to the Sun Belt. But I think what we did see is some people who were maybe planning to move anyway at some point down the line and thought, let's just go ahead and do this now. And so it was really this kind of perfect storm of events. And what happened is we quickly saw, single-family home demand went up, rental demand went up, and then you get to 2021, and all of a sudden you have huge growth in home prices and also big growth in rents as well.